Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Giovanni Valderas, and I am the exhibitions manager at the Fort Worth Community Arts Center. And today I'm joined by an amazing artist, Austin Uzor. Uh, Austin is currently showing with us in our Vista Gallery. Austin, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, Thank you very much. My name is Austin Uzor, and I'm currently an MFA third year graduate student at the University of North Texas, Denton, and I am a painting and drawing major. I try to express myself and to tell my story, which is basically anything that revolves around um, my daily life and that has been affected by my movement
Hmm.
from Nigeria to the United States.
You describe your installation as at the Art Center as a pilgrimage or procession, in essence, almost to occupy spaces that reflect a reality of an immigrant's journey. Could you expand on this idea or this vision that you have?
Oh, well, it started as me just trying to make a work that was so immersive that people could actually take something away from, like feel the striking imagery of what I had going on in my mind and my life at a particular time. And I struggled with trying to like put that into like physicality because of how unsuccessful it has been in the past for me to make massive works and the limitations, surrounding the mobility of these works. So the idea came in a way that I could break these pieces down into smaller like segments and smaller like um, fragments and and just go crazy with them, and how I can now, move with these spaces from space to space, given the structural difference between the spaces and how the pieces now take a life of its own.
How much is the work based on memory as opposed to based on the future?
When I started, most of it was based on memory, and I could not really tell. It was just me sorting out like the past. And I thought that the only way to address the future and be really present in the future was if I thoroughly addressed the past. And that's something you keep seeing with the repetition of imagery and the iconography of some setting kind of like of imagery. And that was just me trying to banish those images out of my, head. And by the time I thought I was done, even without even thinking much about it, I found that I have moved on. And that was me, having the present interfere with the past and having the present take more of like a say, because that was my reality.
When I look at it, it speaks as very ephemeral, and it's almost like a dreamscape, but then also a memory, and I find that just really interesting. And when I continue to look back over it, I discover kind of new things, which I think it's always great for work. So when you're putting together this ambitious installation, which everyone should come check out, um, how do you begin? Like how is it? Does it does it start intuitively where you just create the panels to paint on, or are you sketching it out, creating some kind of connection between all the works? Because there is this kind of evolution throughout the work that continues to move along and take the viewer with them.
First of all, I like to think of myself as one of those painters not who do not rely solely on process.
Mm.
And that's because I wanted to break norms and be exciting in terms of my practice, and find new things every time on the way, and act surprised whenever I find these things and not really anticipate setting like outcomes. But for the most part, it's just a raw, blank slate where I just put down, this information, in a very visual form, but not on paper.
Wow, thanks. That was really great to hear. It's always fascinating to kind of hear the process of an artist and how they kind of set about to create work. How much of this body of work was based on your own migration to the States?
I think this body of work was one that like consciously had a lot of like impact on my migration. So subsequently, I didn't know what I was really feeling. I didn't want to address the issue like upfront, so I was kind of masking it, um, and that was fun. Like I would just make paintings and now understand why it had certain kind of tonality to it, and a certain mood, and people kept pointing it out. Yeah, I decided to embrace
Mm.
my reality, which was living in two worlds, and their adversity like that comes with trying to exist in two worlds simultaneously, and in Nigeria and in the United States. And the worst part was not actually belonging, totally to both worlds, even though I have shared experiences and like I have ties with both worlds, physically and psychologically. And it was now an impossible task to actually, you know, call somewhere home. It was more about let's say a disappointment
Mm.
that I did not really belong, because I always anticipated that I would belong to anywhere I step foot on. And it was more heartbreaking to find out that even leaving Nigeria, and going back there, I found out that I have left, and Nigeria has left me behind. And that was even more heartbreaking because now I don't have nowhere to call a home. So that inspired this body of work where I had to really search for that place that I really wanted to call home. And the only way to do that was to to draw ideas from places I've lived in and places I've called home, and I still call home, and use that to forge a new idea of home.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's really such a hard thing to grasp, someone moving to a completely different continent and trying to acclimate as best they can. And even though I would assume you can never really do that, or you're not allowed to do that by this kind of structure that we live in. When you came to the States, what did you have this idealized version of how it would be like, and how much of that was different?
Well, I had an idea about what the U.S. would be like. I I understood the realities. I understood the politics. I understood most of it, and I the only piece that was missing was me actually experiencing it firsthand. I totally thought that I could blend in,
Mm.
and that way, not have like I'm not gonna walk into a room and the first thing people think is, oh, here's that dude from Africa, even without even speaking to me. Like they can just look at you and like you know give you like even before you even offer anything, they already have like a tag for you. So I feel like I have more than that to offer. Like I
Mm.
you know I I mean I'm a human being, so I feel like I wouldn't have to carry the whole of Africa on my back. If I'm going to be in the United States for the rest of my life, that's my reality. I cannot change that.
Mm.
But I was not prepared for that.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
So I shifting gears a little bit. I was wondering what's next for you.
Plans that I have after graduate school is more like me keeping on my still practice, still hanging around the DFW area, at least for a few more years. But I'm always open to like opportunities that are actually going to push me um, to realizing my full potential. So if those opportunities come and they're like um, pointing outside of Texas, then I'll definitely take it.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, first, thank you for taking time and basically shooting a video with us. Really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us today. Um, Tell us how we could follow you on social media. Maybe give us like your handles and see how we can stay in touch with you.
On Instagram, I go by Austin, like the city Austin, dot Uzor, which is Uzor dot 7. On Facebook, you can search Austin Uzor, and it's you can actually see and follow me on both.
All right. Well, great. Well, man, thank you so much again for sitting down with us today and giving some insight onto your work. Again, everyone, please come check out Austin's show at the Fort Worth Community Arts Center. It's something to come see. So thank you so much, Austin. And
Thank you very much, Giovanni. I really appreciate it.
no problem. All right, everyone. Have a good day.